I'm going to be showing you everything you need to know to get started in the Reclamation Modpack for Minecraft. So, let's get started. When you first spawn into the world, what you're going to see is a barren wasteland. There's a few major changes. One, the lakes. Fish still spawn and are going to be your main food source very early game. You will also be able to get clay and also sand, as you can see here, in the lakes as well as gravel. The same goes with stone. As you can see up here, you can see there is stone still generating in the world, but there are no ores at all underground. We will not be doing any ore mining. The only trees that you're going to see are these ones here, and these are dead logs. Zombie villagers and witches won't spawn. Spiders are now all venomous cave versions. In order to make a bed, then you're going to need string and turn it into wool. Use 4 string that drops into cave spiders and turn it into wool, and either make it into a bed, or you could make it into a sleeping bag, needing 3 wool without any wood, and you could place this and sleep wherever you want, but it won't reset your spawn point, so do be aware of that. This quest here, Fishy Friends, gives you a fishing rod just by clicking the check mark, and you can fish in rivers and lakes to actually get fish as your early game food source. So, let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is, as usual, start punching some trees, and that is going to be dead logs. Once you've done that, take the dead logs, and in your inventory, in your little crafting grid here, turn them into scrap wood. When you take the scrap wood, 4 of this will make a flimsy plank. Take your flimsy planks and make them into a crafting table. Place down your crafting table and you can make sticks as normal. I would then, with your flimsy planks, make a wooden pickaxe and either dig down or go into a mountainside and then mine up some stone. Once you've got stone, which is just going to be normal stone, I would then make a stone pickaxe. Once you've got your stone pickaxe, what you want to do is find some ruins like the one you can see in front of me here. And specifically, what you're looking for in these ruins, which are very, there's a lot of them. You can see there's one up there on the hill, there's one over there. There's one over there. There's quite a lot of them. You want to mine the oxidized cut copper. You will need a stone pickaxe. Then place that copper down on the ground. Then what you're going to do is get an axe and just right click it, and as you can see, it will de-oxidize it. Once it is de-oxidized, mine it again, so it's normal, just cut copper, pick that up, and then what you're going to want to make is this here, a cutting board. So literally get your cut copper, place down the cutting board, right click the cut copper onto it, and then with your pickaxe, right click the block on the copper, and you will get copper ingots. Ta-da! Copper ingots are the main resource, along with the wood that you've gathered, that we're going to be needing. At this point, you can make a flimsy door, but it will break every now and then, and it's not very good. But it will keep the monsters out at night. What monsters will spawn at night? Endermen, husks, creepers, cave spiders, and I think that's it, really. That's all you need to worry about. So I would just kind of go into one of the hillsides or dig down through the dried earth. Because you now have stone and copper, what you can make is a furnace. You can simply put in your dead logs in order to get some charcoal. Now, you will have a very small chance of getting charcoal from the dead logs that you harvest anyway. And these dead bushes here, sometimes you will get a stick dropping from, but that's about it. Before we get any further, I want to let you know that I'm partnering up with G-Portal here to give you 10% off your first month with them. They do all sorts of Minecraft servers, whether you want modded, spigot, sponge, anything you want. And you can swap out not just Minecraft, but any game on your server at the click of a button with GameCloud. Meaning the possibilities are endless. Again, check out the link in the description so you can get some money off with code Javier. Now we move on to the second part of the beginning of the mod pack, which is Theurgy and making dirt. All we have here is dried earth, and we need to make dirt. What I want you to make is 1, 2, 3, 4 pyromantic braziers. Now you could just use 1 and keep swapping out the items on top, but if you want to do it like I have here, then make 4 of them. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4 pyromantic braziers. Now what you need to do is put in some charcoal to heat them up, okay? Now on the first one, you're going to place and make a calcination oven. All of this is going to take copper and stone and things that we already have, of course. Now in the calcination oven, we need to make salt. And the salt we need to make is strata salt. So in Theurgy, there's strata, minerals, and crops. Crops salt in a calcination oven needs all sorts of crops. Minerals is from minerals, and strata is from things like clay, gravel, and sand, which you can get at the bottom of lakes in the reclamation world. So let's take clay as our example here. I'm going to get a stack of clay that I've mined up from under this water, and I just right-click it into the calcination oven. Of course, it goes on top of a brazier, which has charcoal in to heat it up. And as you can see at the top of my screen, we start getting alchemical salt strata. That's step 1 done. On the second one, we make a mercury distiller in the same way, plop it on top of your brazier. If I go into the mercury distiller and press U for uses and click alchemical distillation, you can see that different items can create mercury. So 10 stone will make mercury. You could also use 15 gravel will make one. You could, I think you can use fish. 8 sand, a copper ingot will make 1 mercury. Yes, raw fish will make 2, or cooked fish even. So cook the fish in the furnace that you fish up, and you can get 2 mercury. That's what I'm going to use for my one. I'm going to use cooked cod. And again, right-click it into the mercury distiller, and after a little while, you'll start seeing mercury. How do we get out the alchemical salt? Just right-click it. Same with the mercury. As you'll see here, just right-click it and the mercury will come out. The third one you want to make is a sal ammoniac tank and a sal ammoniac accumulator. All you need to do is put the sal ammoniac tank on the bottom, like this, put the accumulator on top, and then fill the top one with water. Yes, you can make buckets. Buckets are just some copper and caminite blend, which is made from clay and sand. So just put the buckets of water in the sal ammoniac accumulator, and you will get sal ammoniac being made on the bottom. Then we make our third brazier, and we put on top a liquefaction cauldron. And again, what we want to put in here is our sal ammoniac and dried earth. So again, get a brazier, put charcoal in to heat it up, get a liquefaction cauldron on top, and then once you've made enough sal ammoniac, what you want to do is get a bucket, right-click it out of the tank, right-click it into the liquefaction cauldron, and then we're going to get dried earth, and we're just going to right-click the dried earth also into the liquefaction cauldron. And then what you're going to get, as you can see in this one I made earlier, is alchemical sulfur dirt. Right-click that to get it out. We have alchemical sulfur dirt. Then we have our fourth brazier. Okay, so put that one down, heat it up with charcoal. And on top of it, you're going to put an incubator. And then around your incubator, you want an incubator salt vessel, an incubator sulfur vessel, and an incubator mercury vessel. And on the second height, you just place one of each on one side. The salt vessel, well, that's where your strata salt goes. So right-click that into the salt vessel. You then have your sulfur vessel. That's where your alchemical dirt that you've just made goes. And then your mercury vessel, you have your mercury that you've made going in there. And as you can see, the incubator has smoke coming out of it, and the sulfur dirt is coming out. Now, you won't see here that the dirt has been done, but you could just right-click the top of it, and you'll get some dirt pop out. So, although on here you can see it says alchemical sulfur dirt, mercury shard, etc., if you look at here, you can't see the dirt in there. But when I right-click it, again, I just got 4 more dirt. And basically, that is going to take you to the end of the prologue quests for getting dirt. And that will then unlock the quest line A Whiff of Normal. And we also have here resource generation. Now, and storage and decor. So in prologue, you have this one called Bees. You could do the check mark, and that's going to open up a quest line here called resource generation. Oh my. For bees, it'll open up this part over here. We're also then going to open up, once we've done the dirt, the prosperity shard line for mystical agriculture. and some other bits here like storage and decor. The next steps at this point are going to be working through some crops and making iron ingots. We all love iron ingots much better than copper. So, how do we get seeds? Well, lucky you can just hit these tufts of grass here, and we're going to be getting some seeds. So you hit the grass, you get some seeds. The seeds that you can get are going to be water artichoke, wolfsbane, belladonna, mandrake, wheat, and snowbell. You are going to want to make all of these seeds, or get all of these seeds, should I say. Then we're going to want to make some crop sticks out of some crops, out of some sticks even. And then put your dirt down and use a hoe, a stone hoe or a copper hoe, to make, farmland like usual, and place the crop stick like this. Right-click it on the dirt. What we can then do is get our seed and place it on the crop stick. Okay, wheat seeds, there we go. You place it on here. What you can then make is a magnifying glass, and that will tell you all about the seed. I'm not going to go into a massive detail about fertility and gain, etc., but what you do need to know is that you can breed crops, or crossbreed them. To crossbreed a crop, I would put one stick here, and then one in the corner, but I click it again and make a double crop. And what I then do is I would say, let's say wheat here, and how do I make potato? Okay, let's take carrots as an example. With our snowbell seeds and our wheat seeds, we can then get carrot seeds. So what you would do is you would put your wheat seed here, your snowbell would go here, and then you hope that it will crossbreed to here and eventually make a carrot seed. Now, your magnifying glass will tell you. You can see here the species is wheat. It could end up being here that we get a wheat snowbell or a wheat carrot. And that means that it's kind of got a passive gene. Like how with our parents and grandparents, it can skip a generation. Imagine that second species bit is the bit that's like stored in there, but it's not come out. Like imagine your granddad is ginger, but your dad is not, but then you're ginger because it skipped a generation because he's held the ginger gene. Oh, that's right, baby. You've only gone and got it. That's just the only example I can think of. Or the bald gene. I think that can skip generations. I don't know. But you understand the concept. You're bald, you're ginger, you've got hair, you haven't, who knows. But basically that's how you can crossbreed the crops here. And that's how you can get things like potato and carrots. It may take a while to get there. I've got an example here, mandrake. And as you can see, the crossbred one here has gone from fertility 1 to fertility 2, gain 1 to gain 2, mutativity 1 to 2. And you can see the stats on the crop can mutate. And that's exactly what's happened here. This was a double stick one, and these two 111 mandrakes have then mutated into basically a better version. So one that has more gain, for example, will give you more crops when you harvest it. Strength, I think, is better against weeds and things like that. Fertility gives it a higher chance to mutate. Mutativity, I think, gives a higher chance for it to mutate into a different crop. Like here, our seed going into a carrot. A few other things you can make here. We can get straw by using a knife. So straw is made on a cutting board. Put the knife, right-click the knife onto the cutting board with some... Sorry, ignore me. You use the knife, you right-click the grass with a knife, and you can get some straw. We can also get rich farmland, which is made with some rotten flesh, which you'll get from husks. We now have dirt, we have straw, and bone meal you can actually get by cutting board raw fish, and you'll get some bone meal. And then you can get organic compost. When you put that on the ground, it will eventually turn to rich soil, which will grow your crops even faster. If you want a passive way of getting copper, then what you can do is put some water and then get some gravel. So gravel, water, a crop stick in here, and then we can actually get, by crossbreeding, caprosia seeds. So if I look at how to make them, you can see that wheat and carrot can make caprosia when crossbreeding. And caprosia will make you copper nuggets. But when we look at the growth requirements, we can see here that it needs to be, it can harvest trace amounts of copper from water. So it needs to be underwater and it needs to be on gravel. And that will get us copper nuggets. That's a way of passively getting copper rather than running out and getting it all from, out there. So we've got our mandrake here. Now, how are we going to turn it into iron ingots? The second part of this chapter. Well, mandrake is one of the seeds that you can get from the dead grass. And when it grows, it will actually hurt you. It's like a living creature, like in Harry Potter. So you want to kill it, and you'll get a mandrake root. And then what you want to do is it this one here? Can you see here, we've got a sal ammoniac accumulator and a fluid vessel. So put your fluid vessel down, get your sal ammoniac accumulator on top, and then what you're actually going to need to do, and this bit is a bit confusing in the quest book in my opinion, I actually struggled myself even making the guide for this bit. You want to put, rather than putting water in here to make sal ammoniac, take the sal ammoniac out and put it into the sal ammoniac accumulator. Then what you do is you get your mandrake root, which you get by killing the mandrakes, and you place that into the sal ammoniac accumulator. So put in mandrake root with the sal ammoniac into the accumulator, put a fluid vessel below, and you'll get hemoglobic fluid. Bucket out the hemoglobic fluid, and in liquefaction, you basically will put hemoglobic fluid in with copper ingots to get alchemical sulfur iron. So you know how earlier we put in sal ammoniac with our liquefaction cauldron? We're going to get a brazier, and you're going to get a liquefaction cauldron. You're going to then get your hemoglobic fluid that you've just made and put that into the liquefaction cauldron with copper ingots, like that. And then obviously light it, like that. And the copper ingots and the hemoglobic fluid should turn into, there we go, alchemical sulfur iron. As you would have seen before with making dirt, you then put that into your incubator with mineral salt, and you will get iron ingots. Mineral salt you can literally make from strata, or you can make it from charcoal at this point, using the methods we used earlier. And ta-da! You've now got iron ingots. A few things in iron ingots, you can make it into watering cans, which will help you speed up your crops, etc. But the main thing we want to make is a cauldron. So once you have your iron, we need to actually make grass. That is the next step. So the first thing we're going to make is a cauldron. Get your cauldron, and that is, yes, a normal vanilla Minecraft cauldron. And what we're going to do is plonk it down, and we're going to put under it a campfire. And then you're going to get some anointing paste from an icy needle, belladonna flower, mandrake root. That's basically from the crops that you can make from the seeds you'll get. And make that anointing paste and just right-click it onto the cauldron, and you'll get a witch's cauldron. Then what you're going to do is fill it up 3 times, 1, 2, 3, with water. And now we can start using it. So the first things we're going to need to make is going to be some mutandis. And as you can see on mutandis, we need to use a belladonna flower, a water artichoke, and bone meal. So you simply drop in the belladonna, drop in the water artichoke, and drop in the bone meal, and you'll see some swirlies coming up out of the cauldron. And after a good few seconds, or it takes a little while actually, what we're going to get is some mutandis. So there we go. It looks like that's done. I can just right-click it, and 3 times, oh, I've already got some in my inventory, you get mutandis. What we can do with the mutandis is go up to I can find one, a dead bush. It's going to make it daytime. And you right-click it with the mutandis, and it will turn the dead bush into a sapling. Jungle sapling, dead bush, spruce sapling, alder sapling, spruce. You're going to want a few of them, birch being one of the ones you are going to want. Now, once you have a birch sapling, you can simply just bone meal it, and then obviously get a birch tree, and then start getting birch the normal way. So what we then want to make is a witch's oven, and that is just made with iron items. So witch's oven, and then you can make some fume funnels, which will just basically make it more efficient. Place on either side, and inside you're going to put, well, I might as well show you the one I've done earlier, charcoal in the middle, clay jars, which you make out of soft clay jars and then heat them up on the left. And then we're going to be making a few things. Odour of Purity, for example, in the witch's oven is made from hawthorn saplings. make those saplings with the Mutandis, like I just showed you. It's random which sapling you'll get, so you want to try and get Hawthorn ones. And all you do with the Hawthorn sapling is you put it in the left up here, and you'll get Odour of Purity. So what we want to do here is we want to make Brilliant Fibre. And as you can see, that will need an Odour of Purity, and then String, and then Wolfsbane Flower, and then Whiff of Magic in the Witch's Cauldron in that order. Whiff of Magic is made by putting a Rowan sapling in the Witch's Oven. Odour of Purity is made by making a Hawthorn sapling in there. So you just dump them into the cauldron in that order, which is the one we just showed you how to make Mutandis in, and you will get the item needed, which will be Brilliant Fibre. So what you do with Brilliant Fibre is you go, let's say I get it, and I right-click it onto a leaf here, and can you see it's turned it into a golden leaf? Now this golden leaf is going to spread, surely but slowly, across the entire tree. You're going to know when your leaves have turned because they will have these little gold globules kind of floating in them. So basically, to explain what I mean here, if I use my Brilliant Fibre, in fact, I don't need to show you. You see this one here says golden leaves, but it's quite dull. And can you see this one here is a golden leaf, but there's no like little spirit inside it. But yet this one has the little dots inside it. You want to wait until it's got the little dots inside, and then when you harvest it, you will get a gold leaf. With this gold leaf, put it in your inventory, in your crafting, and you'll get gold powder. The next thing you need to do is this setup here. So once you've done these items, make or get your Book of Natural Aura, which is made, I think you should be given one. A Book of Natural Aura. If not, it's like this, okay? But go into your Book of Natural Aura and go to Ritual of the Forest. You don't have to do this. You can just follow what I'm doing. Visualize it. Right-click it on the ground. It just makes things easier for you. And then you're going to need to get a birch sapling, but you're going to place that one last. Some gold powder and some wooden stands. And wooden stands are just gold leaf and a log. So basically, you put the gold powder 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then connect up the corners on the inside. And then I would go from those middle corners 1, 2 diagonally, and that's where you put your corner logs. And then from the middle one here, 1, 2 as well. And there you go. You built your, you have built your ritual circle. And now what we need to do is make a pasture seed. So a pasture seed needs a hay bale, which you can just make by 9 wheat. Obviously, you could have made seeds in the wheat, blah, blah, blah. A hint of rebirth and breath of the goddess. So breath of the goddess, put your birch sapling in the witch's oven. Rebirth is going to be putting a spruce sapling in the witch's oven. So rebirth and goddess. And you're going to place, right-click, 1 rebirth onto one stand and 1 goddess onto the other stand. Then you're going to need to get a hay bale and place that on a stand. And then you're going to need a seed of any variety, and that will go on another stand. Then you place your birch sapling. The sapling you use is specific with these rituals, and you need to grow it. Now that can be bone meal or natural means, but whenever it finally grows, you'll start seeing all these little gold particles going up, and it will basically absorb the tree and turn it into a pasture seed. It takes about 30 seconds or so, 20 seconds, I don't know. And ta-da, you then get a pasture seed. So what is a pasture seed going to do? Well, if we get some dirt, and then we use the pasture seed on it, it's going to turn it into grass, and all of the nearby dirt into grass. And of course, in vanilla Minecraft, grass will spread. And there we go. You've now got grass, and you have completed the A Whiff of Normal chapter. Now, at that point, we've done the prologue, we've done the Whiff of Normal. I would say at this point, you should be able to follow these quests on your own. I've explained most of the beginning stages, and you then go into Touching Grass, which is a bit more of a complex and more intermediate level of the mod pack. But don't worry, this may be the end of the Reclamation Beginner Guide, but on this channel, I have a ton of mod guides that are going to help you with Reclamation Modpack. Taking a look here, as you can see, we have Botania in here, Create in here, Nature's Aura we've just used. If you go to my channel, as you can see here, and you choose the search and put nature and press enter, what you're going to see is my ultimate guide to Nature's Aura. If you put in Botania, you're going to see my ultimate guide to Botania. Basically, if you go to playlists, you can find all of the mods that are in this mod pack, and I will be able to help you out with a guide one way or another to show you how to do the things you need to do in this mod pack in order to get through the pack. And as you can see, I have an insane amount of mods. Some of them don't have playlists, like the Complicated Bees mod, which is also in the Reclamation Modpack. That is just a standalone video, the ultimate guide to complicated bees, for example. And you can find them on my homepage as well. If you need any help at all, join my Discord as we run modded Minecraft servers that you can play on, and you can get 10% off with code Javier for G Portal if you want to get your own server for Reclamation or anything else.